Hey guys, Dr. Decks here. Today I'm going to talk to you about a deck we built for a flower and garden show in Seattle called the Northwest Flower and Garden Show. If you like this video or you learn a little something about some of the craziest stuff I've ever done in my entire life, click that subscribe button and hit the bell icon to be notified when we're putting out new content. I got kind of the fever for a few years to participate in the Northwest Flower and Garden Show in Seattle. My first year I participated, I actually was in a landscaper's garden that they invited me to participate in. And then the next year, I actually applied for my own garden as a display because I thought if I did that, that maybe I could do exactly what I wanted. Because a lot of the things that I wanted to do in the year previous garden, I wasn't allowed to because it wasn't mine, I couldn't make those decisions. So I thought, hey, I'll start with a smaller application. I don't want a big spot, just a small spot. So I applied. And the Northwest Flower and Garden Show said, yes, we want you to participate. Here's your space. It was 30 foot by 30 foot or so. So it wasn't huge. I'm like, okay, cool. So I'm a deck builder. I'm not a landscaper. So I designed this garden to be heavy on deck and lighter on landscaping, but with a lot of pow. So we have our first meeting up in Seattle. I go up and everybody gets the theme of the show. Every year they have some kind of a theme for the Flower and Garden Show, and in 2013 the theme was movies. So we all thought about what we were gonna do with this movie, Hollywood. It was a Hollywood themed deal, and everybody was theming the gardens after a particular movie. So I go back up to this next meeting and I know what I'm doing. They had each person that's representing their garden stand up and explain what their theme was for their garden. And there's people, oh, we're gonna do Gone with the Wind, we're gonna do Casablanca, and then somebody else, we're gonna do Raiders of the Lost Ark. Well, they finally get to Dr. Decks. I stand up, hey, Jason Russell, Tacoma, Washington, I own Dr. Decks. Our movie theme is gonna be after the movie Alien. And everybody's like, ooh. And the only thing I could think of was the movie poster for Alien. There's this big egg, and there's a fracture in it with neon green light pointing out of it. And so what I decided to do was, I was theming my garden after movie Alien, and that's exactly what we did. I constructed an egg that you could sit in. Now I'm big on audio, I love music, and anything I do when I'm being creative, I want to interject that love into whatever I'm building. So I designed this crazy deck. I redesigned the alien to be more of a cartoon look. I inlaid the alien into the deck. I did all kinds of green custom deck lighting on railings, and we did really cool trellises and water walls. We did a hidden barbecue that exposed itself inside the back portion of this deck. And we just went crazy. And then the focal point of this entire display was this 6-foot egg I built, and I called it a SHEP, S-H-E-P, which standed for Suspended Human Entertainment Pod. And we put that, and we hung that in the middle of our garden from a trellis, and then I had these 2 steel posts that went through the deck that ran all the wiring because we had a full audio system in it, an iPad, and people could listen to music sitting inside of the SHEP, and 2 people could squeeze in there and together. It was that big of an egg, and I actually formed it out of plywood and spray foam, and then we shaved it, and then we had it rhino lined, spray linered, and then we put a little seat in there, and then I did a place where you could hold an iPad holder, and all that stuff hooked up to a Sony stereo system, and it rocked. It sounded really good. So we finished building this thing. It took us about 4 to 5 weeks to build it inside my shop, and then it was time for the Flower and Garden Show. So we took that and we went up to Seattle. We installed our deck, and then we had local artists come in. One was a metal sculptor, one was a glass blowing artist, and then we had a landscaper come in and help us with the landscaping. And we actually had a landscape sponsor as well. We had custom stones put in it, that kind of thing. We spent a lot of time and a lot of effort on this particular garden. We put a lot of cactus in it, things that looked futuristic. We had alien plants, really bizarre looking things. I was taking some of my bulbs and I was stripping them of the dirt and some of the flowers, and I was hanging them upside down like they were being harvested from the aliens and things like that. We had some really cool features in our garden. And then the kicker was we figured out how to take a deck and drop a panel out of it. So we had a water wall that was on the corner, and then these doors opened up, and then a panel drops out of the deck, and then a barbecue exposes itself out of the deck. And it was a lot of work to figure that out. So that was my first attempt at a phantom barbecue, and it was a really cool feature. Now, again, the media, they're always looking for what's the coolest thing going on in the Flower and Garden Show. So we had the privilege of being interviewed for King 5 Morning News, and we'll show you guys the clip. We'll include it. It may not be the best quality clip, but it'll show you kind of what happened, how it went about. And this Christy Johnson, that was the interviewer, she was so cool. She really loved what we did. And we're playing Michael Jackson music, and she's singing and dancing and on this interview. And then she went right into her spiel and then interviewed me about the deck. And then we showed the barbecue working, and you guys will be able to see all that. Why don't you go ahead and run that clip right now?
Fun is blooming today at the 25th Annual Northwest Flower and Garden Show. It features over 20 gardens in the theme of Gardens Go Hollywood.
Christy Johnson is at the Washington State Convention Center in one of those gardens.
You can't help but move when you hear this song, right? Michael Jackson, we got a little Beat It, and we've got the Northwest Flower and Garden Show. Right now we are hanging out in a garden that's themed after the movie Aliens. Of course, the Northwest Flower and Garden Show going Hollywood this year. All of the gardens are themed around different movies. So you're seeing a few different kinds of flowers in there, a lot of cactus, a few things that you might not necessarily see up here in Seattle too much. But the cool thing about this one is it's all about deck automation. So come on up here. I want to give you a little preview. Bring in Jason, the owner. You're the owner of drdecks, which is a customized deck operation. You can do anything.
Pretty much.
My favorite thing is this thing. It's a suspended human entertainment pod, which I can't think of anything cooler. What is it?
Basically, it's plywood and foam that we put together for an audio system with an iPad. You can read a e-reader. You don't have to rock the music if you don't want to, but you can.
Let's show people this. So you can stick your iPad in here.
Right.
You have a nice little cocktail holder here. And you technically could sit out in your garden, listen to music, or watch a movie, or read your Kindle.
Right, exactly. You can even have a tablet out here to surf the internet or do a little work while you're chilling and just enjoying yourself. That's what it's all about.
I love it.
Living.
I've been sitting in this thing all day long because I just love to rock out. But you also have a lot of other cool things on this deck.
Yeah, this is a sliding water wall. What happens is the water cascades, the doors open up, the deck panel drops, and then from there we have another deck panel that's going to raise up and expose the barbecue.
This is kind of James Bond style, super secret.
Yeah, you bet, you bet. And so it's a double actuation. It just takes a couple seconds for everything to start working. Here we go. And the deck panel comes up, and that's the first actuation. And then once that reaches its peak, or if you have handy electronics people, they can make it happen sooner.
So it comes up to cooking height.
Yeah, it'll come up all the way to cooking height, and you're good to go.
So this will impress your friends when they come over.
Absolutely.
And you're like, hey,
And
check
your
this
neighbors.
out.
Yeah,
and
you
your
bet.
neighbors, that's right. So basically, how is this themed around aliens? I see on the floor here we've got an alien.
Several hours putting alien inlay together, something we coined up and, you know, kind of put the flower logo of the trade show in.
This is actually the back of a truck bed, right?
Yeah, the paint we did was the truck bed lining.
That's so cool.
To get the
And
black.
he can also bend railings with heat. You can do anything that anybody can dream
Yeah,
of.
sky's the limit. Just use your imagination. We'll make it happen.
Use your imagination. Get your pocketbook out, though, because this deck is worth $100 grand.
Yeah.
So you can do anything. You could do big, you could do small, you could do expensive, you could do not so expensive.
Anything from a box to a big old Mondo deck. It's all good with here. We can do it.
All right, I love it.
Probably the coolest thing was when you're done with your garden, before they let the public come in and view the gardens, they do judging. And we were judged, and we were awarded the Editor's Choice, and we also won a silver medal for our efforts for our garden. So that was probably my most successful garden that I participated in at the Northwest Flower and Garden Show. So I hope you enjoyed this video, guys. If you did, don't forget to click the subscribe button, hit that bell icon to be notified when we're putting out new content. Like this video, leave me a comment below and let me know what you thought of Alien on Vacation. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.